Hi, welcome back. Going to do something a little bit different today. Sometimes you just don't get enough interesting hands to go over to make a complete vlog. That's okay. Today we're going to go over just one hand, going to review a few things, ask a few questions as to what would you do along the way, and at the end sum up what all those questions are. Would love to see your feedback in the comments section below.
Rage on that beat, going crazy.
In this session, we were playing a 2-5 game over at the Bellagio. Max buy-in's $500. Been sitting for a little while here, and we're just under starting stack. In this hand, we're under the gun +2, or in the hijack. We're only playing 6-handed after all. And we look down at pocket queens. It's folded to us. We go ahead and make a raise up to $15. Pretty standard raise. Pretty much opening the pot at this table. Been 3 to 4 times the blind. The hijack immediately raises up to $50. Folds over to the big blind, who gives it some thought and makes the call for $50. Now that will bring us up to our first what would you do in this situation, as it comes back and the action is on me. First, a little background on these two particular players. The big blind has shown several times in the evening that he will limp call with big hands, ace king, ace queen, pocket tens, pocket pairs. Will never re-raise when he's raised. He'll limp call raises and has been doing that. Haven't seen him do it with pocket aces or kings. Probably the biggest hand so far is pocket tens or an ace king type hand. I put him on like a pocket jacks. The 3-better has 3-bet previously in the night, but he did do it a little larger when he had premium hands, either aces or kings at one point in the night. So with him just going to $50, while he can still have aces or kings here, I put him on an ace-king suited type of hand. Even ace-queen I can see him doing it with, but with me having pocket queens, highly unlikely. So that brings us to the first question of the night. What would you do in this situation? You've opened up the betting to $15. You've been 3-bet to $50. Big blind calls, and it's back to you. Do you just make the call, see the flop, and go from there? Or do you 4-bet and make a raise? I elected the 4-bet.
Come on.
I went all in, $468. My goal is to get heads up here, squeeze one of the players out. If I'm fortunate, they both have an ace-king type of hand or low pair. Maybe I get them both out of the pot. I take it down right there. So I go all in. The original raiser thinks for about 45 seconds before what looks like a reluctant call as he puts his chips out there for calling. And now over to the big blind, who also takes about 45 seconds to decide. He looks really in anguish. He keeps looking back at his hand before finally deciding to fold.
Pocket queen. Pocket queen? He did. That's not good for me.
As he folds, he says, I had pocket queens. The flop comes out 10-8-2 with 2 spades. The turn is a 10 of hearts, and the river is a 5 of spades. I flip over my pocket queens. He takes a look for a second and rolls over ace king of spades. He takes that one down. River got me. Ultimately, I think even after the flop, very good possibility it was going to get all in since I had an overpair to the board and 2 spades. So more likely it's going to happen regardless. But still like to know, what would you do in that situation? The other question is, if you were in the big blind, what would you have done there? Knowing that it was raised, 3-bet, it gets to you, you have pocket queens. Would you just make the call? Or would you decide to 4-bet and raise in that situation? My final, what would you do? If you would have won this pot, you would have profited over 100 big blinds, over $500 profit that you drag in. How much do you tip? I hope it's more than $1. $1. Everybody has different tipping strategies. Just like the game of poker, everybody has different strategies. So, just curious, what would you do? So to sum up, we got 3 what would you do questions. What would you do if you were in the big blind? It was raised and 3-bet. You looked at pocket queens. Would you just call the $50 or would you raise? What would you do in my situation after it was called by the big blind? Would you call the $50 or raise? I mean, I guess you could fold. And finally, if you profit over 100 big blinds, how much are you tipping that dealer? Especially when they gave you all those spades. So I really hope to see some comments down below. Looking forward to seeing how different people would have played it. I'm not saying I played it right. I just played it the way I played it. That's all I can give you. But would love to hear what your feedback would be. What would you have done differently? How would you have played it? Maybe you would have done the same thing. Hope you enjoyed this little vlogette. Going over a hand. Maybe we'll do it again in the future. Again, just depends on how the sessions go. Not all of them are just chucked full of non-stop action. But every once in a while, there's just some hands that we can go over. Thanks for joining me. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hey, we'll see you at the tables.